Hi, loving friends. This is Chris Parr from Miraculate Healing, and thank you for being here today. Today's video is what is the dark night of the soul? And why would you want to do the dark night of the soul in the first place, right? You are reborn through the womb of the shadow. So the dark night of the soul is a purification process, redesigning oneself, rebuilding process, rediscovering oneself, coming home to the self, and letting go of all injustice and hurt, moving forward, forgiving, loving life, life review, life lessons for growth. This is a process that everyone tries to avoid, hide from, and instead one runs from oneself. Maybe they geographic move, change relationships, or job move, drugs, alcohol, food, cheese, chocolate, jogging, porn, ego excuses, such as self-pity, victim, martyr, blamer, like it was their fault, not my fault. How could they? They will be judged. Karma will get them. Resentments, rejection, regrets, or whatever we use to self-medicate or to numb ourselves so we do not have to face ourselves. The dark night of the soul, yes, can be a dangerous one. Yes, to face yourself, yes. Why would you want to do this, right? It's easier to pass the buck away. It's easier maybe to die to spiritually grow. No one can make you do this. This is your own choice to have your own sacred return to spirit. Here we stand on a threshold where we can no longer run. We must face ourselves. Maybe you will take everything to the grave with you. Maybe you will not tell a single soul. Maybe you will keep it locked up inside of you as a label. You are a bad person. Self-judgment or any other excuses. Yes, it may seem easier to run. Sure, you can run for years, lifetimes if you wish. But I tell you, Divine One, everyone must face every action, situation, or decision they have ever made. Yes, you made or created. This is the purification process, the coming home to the self. I am living this process today. Life on the streets to standing on tops of mountains, assisting and empowering others. I know this process. For a man, this means unprocessed emotions. That means crying. A man crying? Come on, yes, I cried for years, releasing lifetimes of pain that I ran from. When you get sucked down into the mud or dirt or grim into the womb of the shadow self, the dark night of the soul, from the age of 16 to about mid-50s is a shadow work. That's about 40 years of your life you are dealing with your shadow soul. In our world, that is viewed as a mistake, an embarrassment, and a shame. That's the time you are drawn into the womb, not your physical mother's womb, but instead into the womb of your soul. To a dark and moist place where you're cut from your mother, father, and society's roles of you. To get a chance to not carry on that tradition, but to cut and develop your own sense of manhood or womanhood, masculine and or feminine. To develop your own sense of identity, your own sense of ambition, your own sense of what you are doing in this life. And it's not something you do overnight, that's for sure, right? You have 40 years to process this stage of your soul. During the time you are supposed to be in the womb, figuring yourself out, experimenting. Nope, that didn't work. No, go back in, fix, change, adjust, heal, then come back out and keep experimenting. Keep going back in the womb of the shadow, then come out again until you're refined. Your soul loves you perhaps the most because it takes you all worn out and broken and puts you back together again. Through those periods of years, so you can sit with the dark night of the soul and find your wisdom, talents, gifts, abilities, and spiritual powers. This was not a mistake. It was essential in a time you didn't know that in your modern world it is considered a mistake or a failure. If you can get through life without being wounded, you're supposed to be. No, you won't be a man or a woman. You will be a robot zombie, just a machine. The time of the dark night of the soul, or shadow work, is when you develop who you are, to discover, explore, experiment, and make mistakes, and all that stuff. So when you fall, you land in the womb of a dark, moist place to regroup, to reform, to recharge, to put yourself together. Then you live your life in this place, and around the mid-50s, some come out later, you're forced out of the shadow soul is done. So giving voice to your soul can deliver you to your destiny with elegance and grace. And knowing the destiny with elegance and grace, there can be a world without fear and without pain. There can be. Your soul can provide you with a dominion. Not just say the words, but to have the sense of living in a world where everything has consciousness. And everything is alive and communicating with you. Your soul can provide you with the wisdom. It can provide you with participation. So you don't need to look like a spectator, but instead participation of creating a positive future of dreams and creating a virgin future, as we call it. Your soul can offer you that depth and that character of functioning in a multidimensional world, as well as reality. All of this is part of the depth, and all of this is part of the character. Beyond that, giving voice to your soul can deliver you to your destiny with elegance and grace. And knowing the destiny with elegance and grace. With a voice to your soul, you can manifest destiny with elegance and grace. Yeah! Beyond that, you can create those initiations that you missed, those initiations that may have occurred only as social events or same old experiences. Those reap the benefits and riches that would have otherwise been missed in this life. You can create a reality, a personal reality, and a conscious reality without pain and without fear, shame, guilt, unhealthy anger, addictions. Not by ignoring it, sadly, as so many New Agers do. That's their reality. That's their spirituality. I'm going to let them live out their karma. Therefore, there is no pain, no fear. All I did was blinded myself, stuffed my ears with some type of philosophy of denial. No, not a world without pain or fear because you're looking the other way, but instead because you're creating a world. We talked about fear as something to heal, and pain as something to heal. And you will not have a world without fear or pain, but instead you will have a world where you can handle your pain and fear. It was never meant to be this painful or fearful. It was never meant to be as it is now. You can heal, and when new pains and fears come up, you can heal them. But you see, something has happened during the major shifts in consciousness. A new crack has opened, where indeed it is now vaguely, but possibly, where you don't have to heal the pain, but instead you can eliminate it. Where you don't have to heal fear, but instead you can eliminate it. Okay? It's out there, all so slender and so vague. Not saying everyone is going to do it. Oh, happy days are here again. No, there's a crack, people. A tiny crack and a crevice. And if you can find it or see it, if you can wiggle your way self through, grease yourself up with love and make it through there, see it for yourself, then it can be possible. There can be a world without fear and pain. We know that. How can that be? Look at the starving people. Look at your world. Look at the pain and the fear which is breaking out almost everywhere, every hour. Look at all my pain, hardships, abusive parents, etc. Yes, but there is a sliver and there is a new crack, not of darkness, but of light. So many people. A new crack? Oh no. A new fracture? Oh no. Must be the end. Must be. Throughout your life, you are forced out of the shadow, the dark night of the soul. It's sort of like a life review. How many of you can look yourself squarely in the eye and see what you have done with your life so far? How many? Well, everyone is running the other way to their dark night of the soul with excuses and keeping busy. You're clearing and dust off their retreat and refining your own dark night of the soul. It's the voice of your soul that can give you the eyes and the heart to do that. Now, some try to recapture the youth, that eternal youth that they never had, mind you, but pretend that they do or fantasize about it, and you see that, and it looks really sad and unfortunate. But people do that. Others of you can't wait to die. The vast majority sadly sit around and wait to die and see how close to death they are. Am I close to death? I don't want to be on this planet. It's too tough. Why bother? My life sucks. I'll just play self-pity, use drugs, drink, complain, blame my parents, and life. Fuck life. Hear it all the time. Some, however, do not retreat to the past and reach for something that never was. They do not sit around and wait to die. Instead, they become wise. There is, unfortunately, a very small number here, but there are those people who are wise. And when you run into one, you meet them once in a while, there is something very powerful of them. There is a glow. They look younger, and they have a vitality that you just kind of want to be around them, sadly. So I want to saddle up to them, and hope some rubs off on you, whatever it is, pollen or pixie dust or something. They are these people, and they seem to live forever. Always very inventive, highly creative, because they have this sense of their soul. They begin life by facing the shadow light or dark night of the soul, and they seem to have a certain vitality, a certain wonder to them. And they have become wise. I would like to tell you a little secret. God Goddess is in you. God Goddess loves you no matter what. God Goddess is not testing you. So whatever you think you have done wrong, don't worry about it. What matters is what you learn from this process of coming home to you and who you are. In the dark night of the soul, we stand before ourselves. We face our shadow self, all our past, yikes, and here, if we choose to love every person, place, animal, thing, and situation, experience, etc. you have ever been in, even your current one, something beautiful happens. You free yourself. Yeah, to that. I'm finding sitting in the master's chair in your heart space, on your throne, dear one, is easier. Here, Creator's light will purify all processed emotions before they go through your emotional body. What I mean by this is if you feel it is too heavy to bear the purification process, the Creator, your Creator, will make it as light as a feather. And when you release and let go of what you think is wrong, who owes you, what, and stand here and say, I created all of this to grow from. I love this challenge. So be it. You are lifted like the wind. You free yourself, divine warrior. Maybe you see the past as terrible. How could they? I could never do that. Obstacles, setbacks, letdowns, etc. But I tell you, these obstacles were all beautiful stepping stones to your greatness and your full potential. Nothing is a waste of time for me, okay? The only ego would say such. Remember, God Goddess does not judge you. It is you judging you, your own self, divine ones. Remove your labels, limited beliefs, unprocessed emotions, dogma, fog, and rise above it all, like an eagle. And you will see everything is in perfect order. You're perfectly learning and growing and experiencing life. We do not need to completely throw away past, okay? We don't have to throw it away anymore. The past has defined who you are now. Everything you are right now is because of the past, because of your past, and that's beautiful. When you remember who we are and merge with God Goddess's will, and in turn, we overcome our lower emotions such as fear, shame, anxiety, inner demons, addictions, limited ego, guilt, excuses, and we rise above it all. Here, doing what is right from God Goddess's eyes is just normal. It just feels right, like a Cinderella shoe that fits perfectly. We come to earth to forget who we are and then remember who we are. Rise, warriors of the light. Search every area of your beingness and love it. Yes, to you. Stand before yourself. Claim what you created and you gain your power back. This is Chris Parr, Syrian and Lemurian Wisdoms and Teachings.